And I see Small Time is here. I'll bring you in just a second, buddy. Okay. All right. Good evening, boys and girls. We are here for part 2 of this Halloween celebration. And this time we're going to talk about the slashers, the girls. Let's see, where is it? There it is. Yes, the final girls and a whole bunch of other stuff. Some of our favorite Halloween stories and things like that. Me and a couple friends are going to get together and do the second part of our Halloween celebration here on State of the Atmosfere. All right, boys and girls, welcome aboard for the second part of our Halloween celebration, along with for the ride tonight. And who knows who else will show up? You know how this show goes. We've got a regular here on State of the Atmosphere. It's Matt from Small Time Republic. How you doing, brother? It's good to see you.
Doing good. Good to see you.
Everything good in your neck of the woods, I hope.
Yep, going well.
All right, man. And then for the first time, well, actually, he's been in the chat before, but for the first time live, we've got my good friend John Doss.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Man? It's good to see you.
See you guys too.
I don't know if you guys saw me in the chat this morning, but I'm working on a sign for my comic book vendor here in town. So, yeah, I'm not going to be on too many streams early in the morning. As a matter of fact, I went over there today and oh my God, man. The sun, my wife and I went by there last night. I cleaned up the window. It's going on glass. And I cleaned it up and I masked it off. I got all the plastic out and everything. Got all that done yesterday. And then I had to do some other stuff. And that's the day me and my wife go to the gym and everything. And I go over there with her after we're done with our Taco Tuesday meal. We always go out for Mexican after the gym. And before we went shopping, we went by there to see what the lighting was like, and the sun was just going down about 6:15. Perfect. My projector would work perfect, right? And I noticed that where the sun was going down at, and I said, well, it was in the front of the building. And I said, okay, well, if I show up in the morning, the sun's going to be on the other side of the building. No, it was shining right at that building at 9:30 this morning. I was like, man, I can't get a break for nothing. So as soon as we're done here tonight, going over there. But I get to use something that I bought about a year ago. It's a Starship Federation molded pistol holster because the part of town it's in is not the greatest. And if anybody knows Shreveport, yeah, you want to be watching out for yourself. But I'm actually going to get that on my hip tonight. So
cool.
That's cool. I'm actually going to find a use for it. I saw it at a gun show. We took, it was I share a birthday with my oldest granddaughter. She's 15. And matter of fact, yeah, her dad's in the chat. Argon Carvalho there. That's her dad. He says, hells yeah, I'm here and I'm not working for once. Hello, Atmosfere. Yeah, man, it's good to see you. And my wife, of course, acknowledges Taco Tuesday. Yes. But, and he says, don't buy a red shirt to go with the holster, no doubt. But anyway, she wanted to go to a gun show. She's into guns, so we took her. I'd never been to a gun show before, and they hit me below the belt with this thing, man. I'm a big Star Trek fan, and I saw that. I said, "Oh yeah, let like, because I brought my gun just in case there was something that, custom I needed done, right? While I was there. And sure enough, they said, yeah, go get it. We'll mold it straight to it. I was like, shit, they use this like hot air gun. Have you ever seen them do this? It's a trip.
I have
Yeah.
not.
It's pretty neat. But anyway, I'll be sporting that this evening. But anyway, it's good to see you guys. And last week we went over the timeline of Halloween, that craziness that series has become, and all that good stuff. And we talked about some of the stuff my family does and what Matt's family does on Halloween. And this week I thought we'd get more into the movie side of it because I'm a big fan. Well, at least up until the turn of the century. Now, you got to realize something, guys. I have not seen very many horror movies since my daughter became an adult, moved out of the house. She's the person I used to watch them with because she enjoyed them. And before that, it was me and a few friends, but my wife does not watch them. Now, check this out. She loves Silence of the Lambs, right?
Yeah.
But won't watch a slasher flick. Right?
Okay.
Does that
Yeah.
compute? I mean, oh man, she hates them. Let's see, what do we got here? Yeah, Foxy ain't a fan of horror. That's her son, David, saying that, and can't believe she likes The Walking Dead. Yeah, well, I talked her into that one. She likes the drama of it, but let me see. I wanted to talk about. First of all, let me ask you guys, what's your favorite horror franchise? What's the ones that you enjoy the most? Or are you even a fan of horror movies?
Yeah, I like it's not really a franchise in and of itself, but I like the H.P. Lovecraft stuff.
H.P. Lovecraft? Okay.
Or the stuff that emulates the H.P. Lovecraft feel, with the Elder Gods and,
Right.
That kind of horror.
Okay.
That existential horror kind of thing,
Okay.
as opposed to just the actual slashers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like a few of those. I mean, like one of my favorite horror movies is Jason X.
Mm-hmm. Is that the one where he went to space?
Yes, that's the one where he's in space.
See, I've never seen that one. I've never seen that one. It seemed like a silly prospect to me.
It is,
but
it's fun.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
When you say something is in space, sort of like the equivalent of when they say, whatever on ice.
On ice or
Yeah.
in bed or whatever, right? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that franchise right there. What's funny to me is in the original movie, he doesn't show up until like the last second of the movie.
Yeah.
And he's a scrawny little kid.
And then
his
in the second
mother's
one,
the killer in the first,
Yeah.
The first film.
and in the second one, he's got a different look than he does
Right.
in the latter ones.
Yeah, it sure seemed like he evolved over the years, Always had the hockey mask, but there was always scars to it, or it changed its look a little bit, and the shape that was around that hockey mask always changed, man. Like he was burned up or something, But
And the first 3 Nightmares were good.
yeah, well, I was thinking about the Nightmare movies today because I was, now we're going to go over the Final Girls later on, but the one I had forgotten about was the chick that was in the Nightmare movies, but it always seemed to me she wasn't always the last one in the movie. It seemed like over the years there was different ones. I remember the one, and I thought it was pretty neat, the one that took place, I think, in a psycho ward, where these teenagers were in a psycho ward that it had something to do with the...
They called was it Dream Warriors, or was that something different?
I don't know.
Let's see.
But the ones I remember out of that were the first one, of course. I do remember that one. The one with the kids in the hospital, and the New Nightmare I thought was really cool. That was a cool concept. It was kind of like Scream. It kind of like brought a different element to the story. It was the actual actors, that were in peril, and what was the premise exactly? It was Freddy had become a force of nature kind of thing. It was like everybody's fear of him had given him life or something like that.
Yep.
Wasn't that the way it went or something? I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was pretty neat. I enjoyed that one too. But it just didn't seem to me like that chick was in every one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And her, hang on a second. I know what her name is.
Yeah, I'll look it up. It's Heather Langenkamp.
Right. Heather Langenkamp.
Yeah.
That's her. Yeah.
She was in multiple ones, but yeah, she definitely wasn't in all of them. Some of them kind of run together to me.
Yeah, they do. They do. Hang on a second. Let me grab this and share the screen. Turn the sound on.
Yeah, I probably enjoyed the Friday the 13th franchise more than Nightmare on Elm Street, but you know, to me, horrors has kind of been another genre. It's never been my favorite thing. Just something
Yeah.
to check out on occasion.
Yeah. Well, I like horror. I always have, and I don't know. There's several different ones that I like, but we'll get to that. First, I wanted to showcase the directors, really, because there's quite a. I built what I think would be Mount Rushmore of the old horror movies, from the director's standpoint. Let's see. I got some pictures of them here. Let's see. Well, the first one for me is, of course, if I can get it big enough here. Yeah, there we go. The first one for me has got to be John Carpenter. That guy right there. I mean, he has made, and not just horror movies. He's made some great movies, but his best genre, he does his best stuff in horror movies. I mean, you look at the list of the stuff he's made, man. What is it? He made a trilogy, kind of. He called it an apocalyptic trilogy. I think it started with The Prince of Darkness, and then it was, oh God, what were the three movies that were in apocalypse? Oh, The Thing is one of them.
Yeah, The Thing.
The Thing was one of them, and then I think In the Mouth of Madness was the last one.
That's the last one.
Yeah, and I always thought that one was fantastic, man. But of course, it all started with Halloween, and I still think that it's the best horror movie ever made. But I'm biased. I love the guy. I've loved everything he's done, including the stuff that wasn't horror, like Big Trouble in Little China. Escape from New York. The stuff he made. Outside of horror was always good too. I just thought he was a really good. If you wanted to find a director that did more with less, it's that guy. None of his movies cost a whole lot of money, and they were huge.
Well, and it seemed like his movies were fairly tight in the sense that you never got the sense that you were just kind of wandering off in a direction that didn't move the story forward.
Yeah, you mentioned that last week. That when it came to the editing room, he was really good at telling a story. Yeah, you're right. They're never really long. I think most of his movies are like an hour and a half. They don't even make it to 2 hours.
There's never a 20-minute scene where you're like, what was that 20 minutes for?
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. The next guy I wanted to say would be on the Mount Rushmore. Sadly, he's passed away. And that would be Wes Craven. I've really enjoyed this guy over the years. I think he's dynamite. And he passed away in 2015. Of course, everybody knows about Nightmare on Elm Street, but some of his early, a lot of people don't know this. He made The Hills Have Eyes, which was a tripendicular movie. If you ever saw that when it came out, it was one of the first movies he ever made, and my gosh, that movie was a trip. Made that bald guy with that goofy look famous. He ended up getting a whole bunch of parts after that movie. I can't even remember that guy's name.
Huh? You watch it,
Do what now?
I saw it in high school.
Did you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's one of those movies where you watch it and you almost feel like you're watching real life.
Yeah, it's scary, man. It's scary. A lot of his stuff is like that, man. He made a movie called Serpent of the Rainbow. Scared the shit out of me. I don't know if you ever saw that movie, but it's of course it's got the horror elements to it, but it's actually based on a true story about a guy that was working for a pharmaceutical company that was trying to get a hold of that zombie powder that they use in Haiti, and it was. And I think they've gone on to use it in like heart procedures and stuff like that because it lowers your heartbeat to where it's damn near nothing. That's what it is. And but yeah, that movie scared the hell out of me. And I've always liked his stuff. His I think he tried tried to make another horror franchise. What was it called? Shocker had the guy that got nuked on death row and came back to life. Wasn't he going through the electrical grid or something like that?
Yeah,
Like
that
going
was
after people.
pretty silly.
Yeah, it was. It was silly.
that
But
one.
I think they made 2 of them. I don't think he had anything to do with the sequel, but I think they made another one. But yeah, I always loved Wes Craven's stuff, and Scream that's one of the better ones that he did, and I think he was trying to make fun of horror movies and the way they're all formula kind of. They all follow the same rules and everything. That guy, when he says the rules of a horror movie, it just cracks me up every time I see it, man.
I didn't really appreciate Scream because I was a teenager when I saw it. When I saw it, I didn't appreciate the fact that it was trying to parody horror movies.
Yeah, if you're a teenager when you see it the first time, you haven't seen that many horror movies,
right?
And that kind of sucks. They kind of spoiled every horror movie you saw after that because now you know the rules, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That and you talk about The Hills Have Eyes. There's some sort of linkage with that where I want to say there was like a Jaws poster in the RV in The Hills Have Eyes, and then when you had what was the Sam Raimi movie with his first movie?
Evil Dead.
The Evil Dead. There was a The Hills Have Eyes poster in the basement in Evil Dead, and then I think Wes Craven maybe did something later on where he had an Evil Dead poster in it.
Really?
Like there was like a back and forth there.
Oh my gosh. Let's see what everybody's saying. No, he did not, sir. Let's see. Argon's saying Jason did not always have a hockey mask. At first, it was a burlap sack. Yeah, you're right. It was. I can't remember when he donned that mask. The second movie, he had a burlap sack for a mask. Yeah, he did.
He had the burlap sack with like a hole cut out in it.
Right.
And and he was like a normal size guy in the second one. And then it was the third one. It was the guy that was kind of the pudgy guy that was kind of the comic relief character. I forget his name, but he's the one that it was his hockey mask.
The 3D movie is when he got the hockey mask?
Yep.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I remember that 3D movie. When that arrow went through that guy's eye, I was like, what the hell? Or it might have been a chick. I can't remember who he shot with that thing. But the arrow came through the back of the head and the eyeball popped out with it. And I went and saw that in the theater, and I was like, oh, my God, wow. Yeah. That's just gross.
The main thing I remember about that arrow flying, too, is I remember the arrow flying like almost too straight.
Right.
Like it was like there was like no wavering.
No arc to it at all.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So the number 3, of course, it's Mount Rushmore. We got to have 4, right?
Yeah.
Number 3, and this is just my humble list. If you guys want to add to it, go ahead. But my number 3 is one of my favorite filmmakers ever, and that would be David Cronenberg. This guy has made some fantastic movies.
Yep.
Of course, a lot of people know him from early in his career when he made what everybody calls the exploding head movie, Scanners, which we were introduced, thankfully, to Michael Ironside in that movie and how fantastic that guy was going to be over the years.
Yeah.
My favorite line in that movie, man, it's that big final battle between him and that other guy, and he just goes, I'm going to suck your brain dry. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
But
he's out there.
He is. Well, the next 2 on my list are they're not for the meek. These 2 guys, of course, everybody knows him from his recreation of The Fly with Jeff Goldblum, and he was big into body horror, man. He, Videodrome's one of his, and
was Naked Lunch his, or was that David Lunch?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look it up and see.
Let me look it up.
Yeah, go for it. But I tell you what, man, some of his flicks just make you want to go, because some of the stuff he shows is just, woof. I tell you, one of my
Videodrome. You watch that and you're like, who could even
Naked
think
Lunch?
Of all that's in that?
Yeah, it's one of his too.
Yeah.
Okay.
What were you saying, Matt, about Videodrome?
Yeah, I said you watch Videodrome and you're like, who could even think of what's in that? Like who could even come up with those concepts? That's
right.
It's weird.
Right.
Although I'm a big Debbie Harry fan in that.
Yeah. She was in that one. A lot of people forget about that. Yep. Lead singer for Blondie. She was in that one. Yep.
And then that was back before James Woods got canceled. Long
Right.
before that.
Right. And
Yeah.
what I don't know about you guys, but I follow him on Twitter. That guy's funny. He cracks me up, man.
Yeah.
If you don't follow James Woods on Twitter, do it. You will.
Oh, I do.
You will be pleasantly surprised. But anyway, Dave's made some great movies. There was one with Jeremy Irons called Dead Ringers that I just adore. I love that movie because if you've ever seen it, it's a story about two, and I think it's based on truth, but it's a story about two twin brothers who were gynecologists, and one of them was kind of meek, and the other one was a playboy, and they would trade sexual partners is what they would do, and just so the meeker one could get laid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, but if you haven't, Jeremy Irons was nominated. I believe it was his first nomination for an Academy Award, and it's a movie really about drug addiction, is what it's about. And what's crazy about it is, at the beginning of the movie, you can tell the difference between the brothers, the way Jeremy Irons plays them. And the more they get addicted to drugs through their mutual relationship with this drug addict herself, played by, what was her name? Genevieve Bujold? Is that her name? I think it's French. She was in Coma with Michael Douglas back in the day. Anyway, as they start becoming addicted to drugs, their personalities come closer and closer to being the same. And it's a wild movie. You'd have to see it. But this guy, he's the king of wild, if you ask me. He's got some crazy notions in his head, man.
Existence.
What's that?
Existence.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
that's a tripping flick. Look, you want to talk about one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen him make was Crash. Have you seen that? Not the one that won the Academy Award for Best Picture, but the other one with oh my God, there's a bunch of movies in it. Helen Hunt's in that one. James Spader, of course. James Spader, the king of the weird movies, right?
Yeah. Holly Hunter, Rosanna Arquette.
That's it. Holly Hunter. That's what I was thinking. I always want to say Helen Hunt when I think of that little girl. But yeah, there was a bunch of Rosanna Arquette, right?
Yeah.
She was in it. But I think Stabler from the friggin' Law and Order SUV was in that one too. I think he was one of the. I never can remember that actor's name, but it was a movie about people that got sexually aroused by car crashes. It was freaking bizarre.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh yeah, that is a strange movie. Have you ever seen it, John?
Yeah. I've seen it once.
Freaking weird, man. Well, certain actresses, if they, I'll look up their filmography, and if something's free for me to stream, I'll watch it. And Holly Hunter's always been one of my favorites ever since I saw Broadcast News back in the day, And yeah, strange movie. But anyway, this guy is the king of weird, and I think he belongs on. And look, some of the stuff he's done here recently isn't even horror, though.
No,
I don't know if you've seen A History of Violence or
that's
Eastern
an amazing
Promises.
movie.
Those movies are both fantastic, man. And I believe they're both based on graphic novels.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great filmmaker, and he deserves to be on the horror Mount Rushmore of directors. And the last guy.
Well, he has. Sorry, I was going to say he has one this year that I need to see.
What's that?
That came out this year. Crimes of the Future.
Crimes of the Future. What's that one about?
Basically, it's a biotechnology.
Oh wow!
Goes crazy.
Oh, he's going back into his body dysmorphia stuff, huh?
Yep, it's another body horror.
Oh man. Okay. Well, we'll have to check that one out for sure. Well, the last guy on my list, David Cronenberg, actually has a cameo in one of his movies. I say cameo, but he's one of the major characters in the movie. David Cronenberg plays, and that would be my man Clive Barker. Yep. This guy, he went to the Cronenberg School of Weirdness. Every one of his movies is strange. But everybody knows about Hellraiser. But he was an author before he started making movies.
Oh yeah.
And the first thing I ever saw of his, and it had a quote on the back of it. I think me and Matt were talking about this last week. I was reading Damnation Game, which was the first book I ever read by him, and it had a quote on the cover, and it said, "I have seen the future of horror," and its name's Clive Barker, and the quote was by Stephen King. And man, I don't think he was wrong. This guy, yeah, you think Cronenberg's weird? Read one of this guy's books. He's definitely a Cronenberg fan.
I'll tell you who's a strange guy. The guy that, not to deviate too much, but the guy that wrote Fight Club.
Yeah.
That is
Chuck Palahniuk or something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Weird. Yeah. Sometimes some of the stranger people come up with some of the best fiction for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
Well, the first Clive Barker book I ever read was the First Books of Blood.
Okay. Yeah.
So that tells you where I started at with the whole thing.
Right. Yeah. He's definitely. It's not for the meek. First of all, no doubt, it is not for the meek. He gives you some visuals you will damn sure never forget. But his films, of course, everybody knows Hellraiser. The first Hellraiser, I think, is one of the greatest movies ever made, and that's another movie that didn't have a big budget, and wow, what a great movie it is. You know,
I can remember being a kid at Blockbuster, and showing mom the Hellraiser cover and being like,
"Yeah,
can we rent this?" and getting a very quick no.
Right? No, you can't watch that.
And
I don't think so.
his movies are gory, but it's not gore for the sake of gore. There's gore in the service of the story.
Exactly. Yes, absolutely. He doesn't do it just for the sake of let's throw blood on the screen. There's a reason why he's doing what he's doing, and I dig the guy. I like the way he tells a story. I think it's really neat. Now the movie with Cronenberg in it, Cronenberg is actually trying to find the monsters in what was the name of that? Oh God, you and I mentioned it last week, Matt. What was the name of that flick? Nightbreed. That's it.
Yeah,
Nightbreed.
That's my favorite one of his.
Really, you like that one? Yeah, I like
Nightbreed.
it. I like it. It's not as horror really. It's more a good and evil kind of story. That one there. If you guys don't know
where the monsters live.
Yeah, it's where the monsters live, and Cronenberg is the bad guy trying to find where the monsters live, so he can become powerful and kill them all and all this stuff.
There's a line from that's in my top 20 favorite movie lines.
Oh yeah,
it's not lying down dead, walk around my effing cell dead.
Right? Yeah, that's pretty cool. I haven't seen that movie in so long, I couldn't quote it, but I do remember. I tell you what, when my wife started watching Bones, I thought he was the guy that was in that movie. He could be that guy's twin brother.
Yeah.
You know, turns out he's the guy that he was the bad guy in Pretty in Pink. He was the mean guy in that. But I always enjoyed his movies, man. I love Lord of Illusions. I think that one's an awesome movie. I've never been a big Scott Bakula fan, but if anybody ever asks me what my favorite thing he does is, it's that, because, you know, he plays a really beat up guy when he starts the show, you know. What is he, a private investigator, I think? And he's trying to find something. But man, that whole thing with them binding that dude's powers at the beginning of the show was just, wow, that was awesome. I thought that was cool as hell, you know. But so that's my Mount Rushmore, man. Anybody? Did I miss anybody we should have put on there as far as horror directors?
What about James Wan?
James Wan. Now, see, like I said, since the turn of the century, because I haven't watched many of the new things. Now, James Wan, what has he done?
Like the Annabelle and all that.
Okay, Conjuring series.
Yeah, the Conjuring.
Is he the guy behind that? Did he do the first Conjuring movie?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was his, unless I'm getting mixed up.
Yeah.
Cool.
The only other one I could think of was maybe George Romero.
Yeah, Romero.
Yeah.
You're right. But, you know... but
I guess these other guys that they span more territory.
Yeah. I don't know. I almost think zombies are their own genre, man. You know what I mean? I really do. but you're right. George Romero could definitely be on the Mount Rushmore of horror movies because hey, they are horror movies. You know, it's funny. My wife mentioned she watches The Walking Dead. I talked her into watching that. I didn't get into that until like the third season of it. I guess they were at the prison when I got into it. Right.
Yeah. See, I was reading the comics, so I was like,
right.
Oh, yeah.
I knew it was a comic book. It's just I didn't know how that was going to work as a series. I really didn't, you know. And I finally gave in. Everybody had been telling me to watch this thing. So I was a furnace tech at a glass plant, and I was working over a 4-night weekend. And I watched, you know, the first season of that's only like 6 episodes, and I watched the first season in a weekend. And I told my wife, I said, "Look, I know you don't like horror stuff, but you might want to try this show out. You might enjoy it because I know she likes good drama. And let's face it, when that show started, it was a great drama. It really was. And so I showed her the first episode, and as soon as she heard Glenn on that radio say, "Yeah, you asshole in the tank," she was hooked. She was like, "Yeah, okay, I can get into this."
I haven't seen much of it, but the people that I know that have enjoyed it, they've always said that it's not even really about the zombies.
No, it's not. It's a Western, man. It's a Western told through the backdrop of a zombie apocalypse. That's exactly what that's the easiest. Am I wrong, John? That's about the easiest way to sum it up. It really is.
And the zombies aren't the villain. The people.
No. Matter of fact, a lot of the merchandise you'll buy from The Walking Dead says fear the dead. Or no, it says fight the dead, fear the living. Is what a lot of the merch says, you know, because the bad guys in the show are humans. It's all these different factions of humans. They're different, you know, factions they run into. Yeah. Like the first season was they were on a farm with what was the older man's name? I'm having a senior moment. I loved him too. Herschel. Herschel's farm. They were on Herschel's farm in the second season. Yeah, Maggie's dad. And then they were at the prison. They found a prison. And, of course, the main character's a sheriff's deputy, okay? Yeah. He was a town sheriff outside of Atlanta, Matt. So when he saw a prison that they could go and, you know, actually have a fence between them and the dead, you know, he said, yeah, we could live there for a long time. You know what I mean? So, and that was a whole season because they had to go in there. Of course, there's all kinds of dead people in the prison they got to clear out and all this stuff. It's a great show, man. I guess a lot of people stopped watching it after Negan was introduced, I guess. That was that's about the place where a lot of people jump ship.
Yeah, that one episode, most people are like, "Yep, I'm done."
Yeah, it's
so in some respects, is it basically okay? Long term, here's how you're going to have to deal with the zombie apocalypse. Is that
Kirkman said?
Part of it?
Yeah, Kirkman said, you know, his whole thing behind doing the comic book was this: he was a big fan of the zombie movies growing up, which the trilogy that Romero did was great, and I really love it, and he loved it too. And he said, what would happen? What happens after the credits roll in those movies? How do they survive day to day in the zombie apocalypse? That's what he wanted to write about.
Yeah.
And it really becomes, it's almost like Lord of the Flies kind of, man. These people segregate into different groups and they defend their territory. And it's probably exactly what would happen, man. You know, I mean, it really is. And sometime the plot armor gets a little thick in it, but you know, but they were one of those. They were the first show really before. What's the HBO show I said?
Game of Thrones.
Watched? Yeah, that's it. Game of Thrones. They were the first one to whack major characters out of nowhere. Yeah. You know, without anybody, you know, wondering why'd they do that, you know, and that kind of thing. Yeah. So
that show was so popular at its peak that, you know, the Chris Hardwick show, the Talking Dead, apparently got good ratings with AMC.
Oh yeah, we still watch it. Now you got to understand, I'm not as hip about it as my wife is now. She's one of these. If Daryl dies, we riot chicks. Okay, so She's met him. She named her dog Daryl. Okay, our oldest dog is named Daryl Ambrose. It's named after her favorite character on The Walking Dead and Dean Ambrose, her favorite wrestler. Okay, so yeah.
Well, it
I
can't
was
be
that way.
one of my employees named their dog Miley after Miley Cyrus. So yeah, it can't be any worse than that.
No, it can't.
I was that way over Michonne.
Were you?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I was a big Michonne fan.
You like the samurai, huh? Yeah, she's a great character. First time we met Michonne, Matt, she was walking with two zombies chained to her. She had two zombies on chains hooked to her belt. That was how she walked through the dead. They were camouflage for her. And what
Yep.
she did was she popped their bottom jaw out, and so they couldn't bite her.
It was her husband and her brother-in-law.
Yeah. Yeah, she kept them with her. Cut their arms off, right? She had a samurai sword. She cut their arms off and busted their bottom jaw out so they couldn't bite her, and used them as camouflage walking around in the wilderness. That's how we met Michonne the first time. They call her the samurai because she carries a samurai sword, and she's a bad bitch, man. She really is awesome. That show's good. You should get into it, but I'm telling you, the opening episode of season 7, that's not for the meek of heart. It just really isn't, man.
And it's one of those.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
It's like the Red Wedding in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
If you've read the books, you know it's coming.
Yeah.
And then it happens, and you're like, ah!
God damn it! Couldn't we change this part of it? Right.
I knew this was coming,
mm-hmm.
and it was like, you know it's coming, and then when it's here, you're like,
yeah.
It's an intense episode.
Rhonda says, I had my pick with Michonne's twins too. Yeah, that was the first one she got. Look, over here to my left. Well, hang on a second. You guys hang on. Talk amongst yourselves and I'll show you. Hang on.
All right. There's a horror author horror director I was going to mention. I'll save it till he gets back, but because he's not really a horror director per se, but he has some horror movies under his belt.
Put this on so I can hear you, but I got to take my camera and show it to you guys. Hang on.
Okay. The
got a new angle of the studio.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're always getting new angles of the studio. That's my area right there, man. That's my comic books, right? Got the drawing table, all that. Let me see if I can get the light on. Okay, here we go. Over here, we have the Walking Dead wall. That's my wife's little corner of the world over here. This is her crafting table, okay? But up there, you've got a picture of the prison. You got the big poster. You got her and her boy Daryl. Right? Now that's a cosplayer right there. That's just a cosplayer.
Yeah.
She took. She also got Otis's signature. Otis, the guy Shane killed, right?
Yep.
And that's him right there, taking a picture with her. There's Michonne's twins. That's them.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you got Father Gabriel, probably my favorite one she's gotten. Love Father Gabriel. Then we got Merle. And a signature by Father Gabriel up there. He's holding right.
Yeah. When Father Gabriel first showed up, I didn't like him, but he turned into a good character.
He turned into a great character. And I can tell you right now, my favorite moment in The Walking Dead is him. It's my favorite episode is season 6, I think. It's called No Way Out. It's a lot happens in that episode, and I don't want to ruin it for Matt, but he's got the best line in it, man. He's got my favorite. Of course, you guys don't know much about me. I know you're still learning me, but I'm a man of faith, and I'm not a hypocrite. I mean, I curse all the time and stuff. I try and do well, but I'm human.
Yeah.
But when they're overrun in Alexandria, and he grabs a machete and heads for the door, and that one guy stops him. And he goes, Gabriel, where are you going? They're in a church. Okay. Yeah. And asks him, where are you going? And he says, we have been sitting here all night praying praying to God to save our town. He said, and he's answered our prayers. He's given us the courage to save it ourselves. And he just heads out the door, man.
That's awesome.
It is great. It is my personal favorite episode of The Walking Dead. It's called No Way Out. It's fantastic.
Mine's the introduction in Negan.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you hear the
Yeah. Uh-huh. The last
like,
episode of season 6 then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where you first meet him. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. But yeah, The Walking Dead's a great show. You should check that out, Matt. You should. Put it on your stream list for when you're looking for something to watch.
Well, it's rumored that Jeffrey Dean Morgan, that played Negan, is going to be playing Mephisto in the Agatha Harkness series.
I thought that was
Really?
Sacha Baron Cohen.
What I saw was just like a rumor that somebody had posted. If it ends up being Sacha Baron Cohen, I could see that too. But
I heard the Sacha Baron Cohen. I didn't hear Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I'm good with either, but
sadly, I'm not interested in Agatha. I'm really not. I mean,
Well-
I look. I think I've told Matt this before. There is nothing in Phase 4 that I'm really interested in. That the new trailer dropped for Quantum Mania, right?
yeah,
Did you guys see that?
I liked it.
yeah,
Okay.
I haven't seen
It looks
the trailer.
cool. It looks cool. The two movies that I'm interested in seeing in Phase 4 are that one and let's see, Captain America: New World Order.
Yeah, technically those
That's
are Phase
the other
5.
Well, Phase 5, yeah.
Yeah.
Did I say Phase 4? Yeah, Phase
Yeah.
4 ends next month with Wakanda Forever. I forgot.
Well,
I'm
technically
just-
it ends with Guardians of the Galaxy's Christmas special.
They're doing a Christmas special?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, it's basically
no.
it's. I see it as being a
No.
promotion for the next Guardians movie. Is I think what it could end up being.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
that's going to be the last Guardians movie after the news we heard yesterday.
Oh, that was bombshell
Yeah.
news. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. It'll be the
But-
last Guardians movie.
I have a director. He doesn't necessarily belong on your horror
Okay.
Mount Rushmore, but he definitely belongs on a director's Mount Rushmore somewhere.
Okay.
And hear me out. Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
Early Peter Jackson, the stuff he did in Australia.
Uh-huh.
Brain Dead.
Uh-huh.
Bad Taste. And so his first movie coming over here was Frighteners.
He did The Frighteners?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know he did that.
Yeah.
one.
So
God.
he's a horror director. That's where he got to start. And I'm
Where
like,
a lot of these guys get their starts, man.
And I think Brain Dead makes a lot of those lists of like top 100 movies or top 500 movies or whatever
Mhm.
of all time. It makes a lot of lists.
yeah, that's the one that's got the priest that is a zombie fighter.
Okay.
And his big line is, "I kick ass for the Lord."
That
But
sounds
you know,
awesome. man.
He's an example of somebody that you need to have a director that's got some films under his belt before you give him something like Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
And because every now and then you'll find a franchise that that gives an untested director a big budget movie, and a lot of times it does not work out when they do
it
that.
will backfire on you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rhonda says newest signature is Jerry. Yeah, but you need to get it framed so we can put it on the wall, young lady. I've told you that. Yeah, she got Jerry at the last Comic-Con we did. So let's see. Yeah. He'll be back in a second. So yeah, that's my Mount Rushmore.
Yeah,
that's
that's a good Mount
who
Rushmore.
I think. That's of course, like I said, like James Wan. I heard about him, but I didn't know he's behind The Conjuring. Now it's obviously successful. How many spin-offs have they made of that? They didn't the Nun isn't the Nun from that?
Nuns are from
The
that.
Nun,
Yeah, it's this whole. He's got this whole multiverse,
Yeah,
or not multiverse, but a whole connected universe.
yeah. I thought The Conjuring was part of that invasion of Japanese remakes, but apparently it's not.
No.
Okay. like The Grudge and The Ring.
It's got some inspiration from that,
Mm-hmm.
but not really. It's not in that group.
I got you. Okay. Well, I'll have to check it out then, because I'm not into those Grudge, and it all looks like jump scare shit to me, and that's
a lot of it is. But
yeah,
there's a lot. If they're done well, there's a nice tension aspect that you're just feeling it on edge,
mm-hmm.
and you ride that until you get the jump scare, and that's what the appeal of those kind of movies to me is.
Yeah. Well, I just never got into the Japanese type of stuff. I mean, somebody told me about The Ring, and I watched it, and I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I just wasn't into
Now, did you watch the remake, or did you watch the original Japanese?
I watched the remake. I haven't seen it. I'm sure the Japanese films are better, but here's the problem with that, John. I can't read subtitles because I'll miss half the movie. I can sit here and do calculus all day long at rapid fire speed if you want me to. Okay. But reading is my kryptonite. It's not that I can't read. Have you ever watched me and my brother do our show?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sitting here failing reading all the time, and he makes fun of me doing it all the time too, which is half the fun of the show. But yeah, I suck at it, man.
Yeah, my sister won't watch movies with subtitles either. I tried to get her to watch RRR, and nope.
Yeah, see, I've heard there's a lot of good movies coming out of India, from what I understand. And I'd love to watch them. If they do English dub versions of them, I'm down, but subtitles and I don't get along.
Yeah, they've kind of got their Avengers movie that I haven't watched yet.
Okay.
It's basically this guy finds out he's got powers, and he's part of this group.
Yeah.
And he's got to put it together to fight the evil,
the big baddie.
Yeah.
Whoever the big baddie is.
Yeah, so they have to put together the group of these other magic, not really magic users, but they're they control the elements.
Yep.
So
sounds cool, man. All right, let's see. The next thing we want to get into is, let's get into the slashes. I'm saving the girls for last because they're my favorite part of the whole thing.
Save the final girls for last.
Let's get into that's right. Got to save the final girls for the finale, right?
Yeah.
I just picked a few of the franchises to show here. The first one being my man Mike. He's my favorite. I love Michael Myers. I think he's the best out of all of them, man. What do you guys think?
Yeah, he's also the least gross, as far as, gory violence.
Right. Yeah, depends on who's making the movie, right?
Well, yeah, but generally, his kills are a lot cleaner than, say, Jason or Freddy's.
Yeah, I got you. Well, Mike, I've always dug because if you've watched wrestling ever, the Undertaker takes a lot of his stuff from Mike.
Yeah.
He's just an imposing figure,
Yeah. The slow walk. Yeah.
The slow walk. He never runs, He's never run after anybody, and he always catches up. I don't know how that happens, man. He always catches up.
He's inevitable.
But that's it. It's like death coming to get you. You're not going to be able to get out of the way of it, right? Yeah, I've always dug Mike, and everybody knows the story. That's a William Shatner mask that was beat up and messed up and bleached out, but in the original movie, it's morphed over the years. By the time this picture was taken, he's been burned up and all kinds of other shit,
Yeah.
Have you seen the new ones, John? Have you seen the new?
No, I haven't watched the 2018 ones.
Oh, really? Okay. Well,
yeah, the 2018.
Do yourself a favor. This is just friend to friend. Do yourself a favor. Watch 2018, and then don't watch another one.
Okay, I can do that.
And if you've just got to know how Halloween ends, fast forward to like 15 minutes left in the movie, and you'll be good to go. Because the fight between him and Laurie Strode at the end of it's pretty good. It really is.
All right.
but the rest of it's crap. But anyway, but yeah, my man Mike. I love Mike to death. I think he's awesome. Let's see. The next guy, of course, we got to talk about is the next one on the list. I guess chronologically would be Mr. Jason Voorhees.
Yep.
I suppose. I suppose he's next. Let me check my. I do have a chronological order here in a document. Let me see. Is he the next one?
Did the Texas Chainsaw
He's the
Massacre
next.
come
He's
out?
the next franchise one, I guess.
Yeah.
Well,
Actually, hang on. Let's see. Let me take a look.
Yeah. Texas Chainsaw
79.
Massacre would have been before.
Would have been
Halloween,
before
even.
all of this. You're absolutely
Yeah.
right. You're
But
absolutely
like
right.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that I mentioned this last week. It's kind of like The Hills Have Eyes and The Last House on the Left in terms of some of those 70s horror movies where like you just feel dirty after watching it. You don't even feel
Yeah, you do.
you feel
Yeah, you
more
do.
dirty than scared.
Let's see. Actually, I don't know. Let's take a look real quick. Hang on.
I had a friend
Let's-
force me to watch I Spit on Your Grave.
Oh no.
Yeah, that
Not
was
that.
yeah, that
Anything
was
but that.
Hadn't
That
seen
was-
Spit on Your Grave. I Spit on Your Grave is that's one of those ones you got to take a shower afterwards.
yeah. I was like,
That's in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre wheelhouse there. I Spit on Your Grave. Good Lord, that's just
Brandon-
so gross.
Brandon
Yeah.
wasn't allowed to pick movies for horror night after that.
That another one that falls into that me and Matt talked about last week was Last House on the Left. That one falls in there too.
Yeah.
You know, that one questions morality. Those movies just. I mean, I understand you want revenge, but damn.
Yeah.
By the way, the guy that played John Kreese in the Karate Kid,
Yeah.
he plays a deputy in Last House on the Left.
Does he?
Yep.
No
I
kidding.
forgot to mention that last week.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, let's see. I've got Friday the 13th here booted up, I think. Don't I? Maybe I don't. That's Texas Chainsaw Massacre right there. Let's see. Where am I at? Yeah, we got Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but I've never considered that one of those franchises. It keeps getting remade. They make a sequel occasionally, but
Yeah.
the original story keeps getting remade. But right there in that poster is the part I can't stand. When he puts that chick on a meat hook and has her hanging there, I'm
You
like,
feel it.
oh God, whoa,
Yeah.
that's just wow! You got to be kidding me. Let's see, Friday the 13th. Let me look that up real quick. Let's see. Friday the 13th. I just that one there. I always laughed at. We had heard so much about how scary this movie was, and it needs to be mentioned because it's 1980, so that would be before Freddy. So yeah, he is next. I was right about the chronological order of it.
Was Nightmare 84?
Nightmare was 84. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And this was 80. But the thing about this one that, I mean, we had all heard how scary this movie was. And me and a good friend of mine spent the night at the house and we watched it, up late. And we just laughed through the whole thing. We laughed our asses off. Of course, we watched it at home. We didn't watch it in a dark theater. That could have a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm sure it does.
Because, me and Matt were talking last week, like Jaws is a totally different experience. That's a horror movie. You go see it in the friggin' theater, man. You know what I mean? I took my daughter to see it. She had seen it before. I'd shown it to her. And it played at a local indie movie house. And I said, we need to go see this. And she goes, oh, we've seen it a million times. I said, trust me, you haven't seen it in a dark theater. Trust me. And
This
we
was the
walked
past
out of the
couple
theater.
years?
Yeah, it was. I want to say, well, it was about 5 years ago. About
Okay.
5 years ago, we went and saw
'Cause
it.
I know that they've had some limited runs of it in theaters.
Yeah.
They this summer they had like the anniversary run. I didn't get a chance to catch it. I kind of was.
Well, if you've got an independent movie house,
We don't.
Occasionally, oh, that's a shame, dude. One of the best experiences I had. I got my. I'm a big Steve Largent fan. I'm a Seahawks fan,
Yeah.
And he's my favorite football player ever. And I got I got for my 40th birthday. They took me. The place that's our independent house is on Texas Street in Shreveport. It's called Robinson Film Center. They do. It's a nonprofit organization. They do movie prize every year, and local filmmakers compete for it and everything. And the stuff that's not playing at the major theater, if I feel like I want to go see it, that's where I go looking. And for my 40th birthday, they took me to the bistro above the theater, which it's a really good place to eat. It's a little expensive, but it's really nice. And then we went and saw Return of the Dragon. Got to see my boy Bruce Lee on the big screen. I'd never seen it, in a theater. And I got that signed Steve Largent jersey for my 40th birthday too. It was a great birthday.
Nice.
It was awesome. But occasionally they'll show some of the older movies, and I think my wife told me that they're doing 2 showings of the Rocky Horror Picture Show this year. And I was like, wow, they're really brave enough to show that movie. Somebody's got to have to clean that theater afterwards. Don't they know that?
Yeah, I'm going Saturday night. They're doing it here Saturday night. So.
I actually showed some pictures. Didn't I show those last week, Matt, of me and hers, Riff Raff and Magenta?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it real quick for John. I don't know if he was watching last week.
Oh yeah, it was.
Oh, were you?
Okay,
That's
so
you saw him?
Experience to
Okay.
go see that movie.
It is. It
Yeah.
is dynamite.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun to do.
Sometimes an interactive experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you haven't been and they ask if you're a virgin,
don't say no.
Say
say no.
Just
say no.
Otherwise, you get auctioned off.
That would be bad.
That's right. I said yes, or for a buddy of mine that came with me when I was a kid. This is back when we used to go see it at the midnight movies.
Yeah.
And they were walking through and said, "Any virgins here?" I went like this over his head. He pulled out a shotgun and shot him in the crotch with it. It was hilarious, man. Oh, he was pissed. But highly recommend that movie for anybody that's never seen that flick. Look, it's a totally different experience seeing it in the theater. If you watch it, you'll appreciate the music, right? If you just watch it like at home, you'll appreciate the music, but it is a stupid movie. It's really dumb, guys. It's dumb.
It is.
But it's an ode to old monster movies and shit. But it's really, really, I mean,
it's not as bad as its sequel.
If you're not comfortable in your skin, you're not going to enjoy that movie at all.
You have
but
to be secure in your manhood. Yeah.
Right. You got to be secure in your manhood. Right.
Yeah.
But you go see it in the theater with a bunch of people that know every word of it. And I'm pretty sure, I think it's New York, where they still have a company that dresses up as the characters every weekend and does it.
Yeah.
And just some of the stuff that people come up with, man. I remember I went and saw one time, and you know the part where they're panning back after the spaceship takes off or whatever the hell it is, and there's smoke and it starts spinning. The guy that was dressed as Riff Raff, you saw his hands on the bottom of the screen. He acted like he was spinning it faster and faster and faster and faster. I mean, it's just the crazy shit people do at that theater, man. It's so much fun. It really is. And I heard, now I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard that the guy that made the movie started all that shit to get people to come see it. Yeah. Which that genius. That's pure genius. If that's the case.
I've got the official book for the official responses.
Oh,
what
really?
You're supposed to say when, know, when you're supposed to throw the toast, when you're
What's
supposed
your favorite
to pull
color?
out the water guns. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's when you're supposed to throw the toast, the rain. You got to have newspapers.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Got to bring, at a minimum, bring the newspaper. You're going to get all wet because people are going to shoot those squirt guns up in the air. No doubt.
Yep.
But you know, you want to have fun. Go see the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And yes, just say no when they ask you if you're a virgin.
So follow the Nancy Reagan motto, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
Just say no. Just say no. Okay, so Friday the 13th. Now, like I said, when I was doing my build-up for the girls and stuff, I didn't really pick one for this movie because it's a different chick every time in these movies. They don't have a really a regular one for that one. Okay,
Yeah.
let me see. I got to get back to my chronological order thing here. Let's see.
I will say this: it did surprise me at the beginning of the second Friday the 13th, where they do kill off the main girl from the first one. The
Yeah.
first time I watched it, I didn't see that coming.
Yep. Yeah. You would think it'd be like every other one. They'd keep her around for a while, right?
Or
No.
kill her at the end,
No,
or
she's toast.
yeah.
She's out of there. We're doing something else.
Yep.
You got to respect that, though. They put it all on Jason to sell the story, you know.
Yeah.
One of the weirder ones was that part 4, A New Beginning, the one where the kid that was in the Lost Boys, he was a kid. Is it Corey Haim? Is that his
Corey
name?
Feldman. Yeah.
Or is it Feldman? It was the two Corys, right? That were
one of them. Yeah.
Ended up getting jacked up on drugs that were in the Lost Boys. But anyway, you remember when he did himself up like he was Jason?
Yeah.
And he went to town with a machete at the end of that movie? Oh my God. That was trip. That was a trip. Okay. I do remember that one. Okay,
Friday the 13th is a movie of the dumb teenager.
That's it. The movie of the stupid idiot. And one of the guys in that movie, if you don't know this, if you like playing 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, he gets an arrow shoved through his throat in the original Friday the 13th by Mama Voorhees.
Yep.
That may have been
the
first. That may have been the first death in that movie, other than, well, there's I think a flashback to, a death back in the late 50s.
Yeah.
Or somewhere in the 50s, but I think that was the first one of that group,
right?
That got it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Kevin Bacon was in that one. Okay, the next one is from what did we say? 84. 84. Nightmare on Elm Street. This was Wes Craven at the height of his powers, man. This was some really good stuff. It really took it in a different direction, because now it was your mind doing the killing. It was you go to sleep and Freddy's going to get you. Yeah. Even had a nursery rhyme with it and everything.
One, two, Freddy's after you.
Right?
3, yeah.
And
I still remember it.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. But it was fantastic, and probably the most famous of the slashers in all the movies was Robert Englund. He probably was the most famous one out of all of them. And a nicer guy, from what I understand, you would never meet. From what I understand, I hear this is one of those nice guys in Hollywood kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Robert Englund, yeah. Oh my gosh. He took this character and ran with it, man. It got to where you'd go see these movies just to hear what kind of quip was going to come out next, man. You know what I mean? Unlike Jason and Michael, this guy had plenty to say. He was going to talk to you during the whole thing.
He's the first, I guess, comedic horror villain I could think of.
Yeah.
One of the only.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, Anthony Hopkins was kind of funny in the Hannibal movies, but it's a dry humor, if you know what I mean.
Thing I like about the Friday the 13th or Friday the Nightmare on Elm Street movies is it's you really know it gets hard to tell who's dreaming and who's awake.
Right. Yeah.
And you're like you kind of lose track, and then you're like, is that no?
Is he coming? Is that oh shit, Yeah, that's what I dug about him when he made this one, Craven. It's just it's the first kind of mind bender, it's almost Matrix like. You like you said, you really don't know if they're awake or asleep. At what point did they go to sleep? Only when he pulls something like a tongue coming out of a phone or his long arms scratching the claws down the hallway or whatever, it's that's when you can tell, okay, this person's dreaming, their ass is grass.
They look down and their arms are all clawed up.
Right. Yeah. It's that, and they had some cool, he really, every one of them was different in some way. They had some kind of different premise. Um, I really I thought they were cool. The Friday the 13th I always liked the best, but this is probably my second favorite because they put a whole lot of thought into that character and how he quit. It was almost like you know, uh, Deadpool being a slasher.
Yeah.
He's gonna say something silly and sarcastic every time, man.
Yeah.
Let's see
It's like that tub. I don't remember which one it was. Which one had the tub scene?
Oh, it's this one. I've got that queued up for the girls.
Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's from the first one. Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I say that's an iconic.
Yes, absolutely. Trust me. I've got a little clip for each one of the final girls. So, okay. So we had Jason. Now or not Jason, but Freddie. And let me see who's next on the list here. Oh my God. Yeah. 1987. Now it gets really weird with the advent of this fella right here. Let me find him. Well, actually, this group of folks called the Cenobites. Yeah, man.
Hellraiser.
This is when Hellraiser shows up, boys and girls. Is in 1987, and I tell you what, that's Clive Barker and the strangeness that is that dude right there. Great story. I thought it was a fantastic story. I mean, there's several ways to interpret it. I always thought it was a modern day vampire story. The girl was kind of like Igor, going to get him bodies, and he had to drink their blood to rebuild himself and everything, trying to escape these guys. It turned out, right?
Yeah.
And I don't even consider the final girls in these shows because these don't have final girls.
No.
This is a totally different direction for the horror genre right here. These were bad people trying to escape other bad people. Really. Yep. And doing bad things along the way. And innocents were caught in the crossfire, really. I never watched any of the sequels to this. Because when I saw that they were going to make more of them, I was like, I don't know about all that. Some movies don't need a sequel, And a lot of his movies, I felt that way about Clive Barker's stuff. I didn't think Candyman needed a sequel either. You know what I mean?
No,
I thought, I think they're really good standalone movies, man. But that Pinhead dude, that's wow. Will tear your soul apart. I love that guy. He was awesome. But this chick over here with the split open neck and everything, and that, oh man, these guys, they come up with some wild characters. They really did, didn't they?
I thought the Cenobites were supposed to be like the 7 Deadly Sins.
Is that what they were?
That's what I thought. I mean, that's because you got gluttony, you got
could be.
You had lust. You had it's
could be. I always thought that. Well, I took him at his word. He said they're travelers and experience, just experiencing different physical things. It's nothing mental with them. It's all about the physical and how much pain you can take and all this other stuff. That scene at the end of Hellraiser, where they finally get a hold of Frank, and oh my God, wow. Was that Grizzly or what? They tore the hell out of that guy. Oh, man. And the worst way you could do it, too, with hooks. Oh, yeah. Just, wow. The makeup job they did on that guy in that final scene. Who, by the way, the guy that, well, actually, to be clear, the actor was playing the girl's father. I can't remember the character's name. And Frank was wearing him as a skin, right?
Yep.
She thought her father was still alive, but it was Frank. But it's the same actor that's in Dirty Harry, playing the Scorpio killer. Yeah. And by all accounts, that's one of the nicest guys ever, too. And apparently he's just really good at being a freak. But because Toxic Tuesday did Dirty Harry not too long ago, and they were saying that I can't remember the actor's name, but he's really good at being weird, but he's a nice guy, Matter of fact, they had to. That's what they said during that show. They had to teach him how to use a gun because he'd never seen one before.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's see. Yeah, love this movie. Think it's fantastic. Not big into the franchise though. I love the director, and I love the stuff he makes. But first of all, did he have anything to do with the sequels besides producing them, or was he like John Carpenter just produced them?
Yeah.
I don't. I something tells me he didn't have anything to do with directing the rest of them. But yeah, love this series. Okay, let's see what's next.
Be right back.
On our chronological walkthrough. Oh yeah, this one's good for a giggle right here. This guy right here. Where is he? Let's see. Where are my pictures? There they are. I actually did some work this week, Matt. I enjoy this subject.
Yep.
Yeah, now we got Chucky.
Oh,
Chucky, baby.
the man.
Chucky reared his ugly head in 1987, I think.
Well, when I was a kid, I had a My Buddy doll. Before,
My Buddy? No, in 1988. It was the year after Hellraiser. Yeah.
I had a My Buddy doll before Child's Play even came out. So
you're kidding me.
No, they were a big deal. You had My Buddy for the boys, and then you had Kid Sister that they sold to girls, and those they sold a lot. Those I think came in like maybe right after Cabbage Patch Kids, but all those are big sellers. But yeah, but My Buddy I think was the inspiration for Chucky.
I always liked Garbage Pail Kids, but that's just me.
Yeah. That was one of those things where, Mom, can I buy the Garbage Pail Kid card pack? No.
Right? No, you can't do that. No. But yeah, Chucky. Now he was, first of all, look, I saw this movie once and laughed my ass off during it. I couldn't be scared of this guy. Just couldn't. Sorry. I'm bigger than he is. I'm just not afraid of him. Let's see. Damn time zones, late and bro today. It'd be all right, bro. It'd be okay. It's good to see you, Vince. But yeah, this guy was kind of like Freddy in the fact that he quipped when he was going to get you, And a lot of people thought that he couldn't hurt him, and he ended up whacking their ass, man. Crazy dude, man.
You think about it. If he gets that Achilles, then you go down.
Yeah, you're done. You hit the floor, and then he's got you.
Yep.
Or you fall asleep.
Right?
Yep.
And then it gets you. No problem. But what cracked me up was like one of the sequels, they had him all stitched up like he had been alive or something. Doesn't he come to life in one of the sequels or something like that?
He gets in one of the movies. They kill him off. They tear him apart, and then he gets sewn back together. If I remember
that's what that's from. Yeah, okay. Because I remember watching when Gruden was coaching the Raiders, I think it was, and everybody would have Chucky dolls in the stands because that was his nickname. Because he looked like Chucky. He always looked mean. He had that furrowed brow like that. And he was always mad. And he had kind of red hair. It was more blonde, but yeah. He just looked like the human personification of Chucky. It was hilarious.
I had a teacher in high school that was not, we'll just say, not the most attentive teacher.
Yeah.
And we ended up watching The Bride of Chucky in the classroom. So that was an interesting experience.
What I thought was really neat was, let's see, where is that? I've got it up here. Yeah. The poster, it was almost like they didn't want you to know what it was about. Yeah. You couldn't see his face in it, which I thought was a neat touch. But yeah, Chucky. I really didn't get into that series, but hey, you got to mention it on around Halloween. It's one of those shows that people loved,
It's back when they didn't give away the whole plot of the movie in the trailers or in the posters.
They didn't. Absolutely. You know what's? I've told several people this. The old trailers, they just threw stuff at the screen. It really didn't tell you any kind of story or anything. It was just scenes, really. There wasn't really voiceovers. But today, some of the trailers they make are better than the damn movies they put out. It's ridiculous. Yep. I never forget, first time I saw the friggin' trailer for Dark Tower, I was like, take my money now, damn it. I was all set to go see that movie. And then I went and saw it, and I was like, Oh
Nope.
God. Even two of the best actors in Hollywood, McConaughey and Idris Elba, couldn't polish that turd, man. It was like,
Nope.
damn. But anyway, yeah. Chucky was 1988. Let's see who is next on the hit parade here. Oh yeah, we back to Clive Barker with this one. Yeah, Candyman, baby. Candyman. Yes. Candyman. You don't want to say his name too many times in the mirror. You don't want to
Nope.
do that. Or
Bad
Tony
things will
Todd.
happen.
Or Tony Todd's gonna show up and hook you. Get you with that hook. Yeah, this now, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. This always felt like to me that it was Clive Barker's ode to the urban myth, the
Yeah.
urban legend.
Yep.
And
I can see that.
I can see
Because
that.
this movie came out before the urban legend movies too. Yeah.
right, exactly. And Virginia Madsen, the girl that's in it, she was researching urban legends and investigating them. That was the whole plot of how the movie started. And wow, did it end up being a fun ride, man. I found this picture, this still from the end of the flick that I love the movie. I thought it was fantastic, man. One of the I really want to say Candyman was the first bad guy that I actually rooted for in a movie. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
he was in the right with what he was doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was done completely wrong, right? But yeah, what a great movie. Virginia Madsen, I didn't put her on the list of the final girls because, like I said, this is a standalone movie. I know they made a sequel to it, but they shouldn't have. It had a perfect ending. You know, it was a great flick, I thought.
Yeah. And really, if this is that type of movie where if the casting is not what it was, or if the director or the script, if all that is what it would typically be for this type of movie, then it's
Right.
forgettable. We're not even talking about it.
Yeah, they'd have had Megan Fox playing the chick, and you'd have been paying attention to her boobs half the movie
Right.
instead of the story. And yeah, you're absolutely spot on with that. Virginia Madsen was a great choice for this. I mean, at every turn, she doesn't know what the hell's going on, and she keeps being at the scenes of these murders, and it's people she cares about, and he just sets her up the whole way, man. You know, let's see. Vince says, not Jason punished promiscuity. No, I don't feel for Jason one bit. No,
He was a buzzkill.
Yeah. He was a buzzkill, no doubt.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Let us be promiscuous. Really. I like that, you know. But yeah, this is the first guy that I really felt for, man. I really pulled for him, you know. So yeah, we got Candyman, and that's what year did I say that was? That was
say 88.
88, I think.
I think it was early 90s.
It's on the
Like maybe
IMDb
91, 92.
page. Hang on, let's see. It's 1992. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that's what it was.
I thought it was older than that.
No. Wow, what a wob! Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at the trailer now. What great visuals that had. I don't want to leave it up too long though. But let's see what the next one is. Let me look that up. Oh yeah, now we get into the 90s, boys and girls, and our man Wes Craven has decided to enter the fray again with a new story, and so, more play on kind of what the new Nightmare was. It's kind of making fun of the horror movie, and in the process making a fantastic take on these things. Scream, that the ghost face. Yeah. He was kick ass. Let's see. Vince says garden tools are not wifey material. Nice. Oh man, but Scream, man, that I dug this movie quite a bit, and it's funny. I can't remember who I was telling this to, but Scream. I mean, they went. He used a lot of tropes from a lot of different movies. He even went as far as to pull what Hitchcock did with Psycho. because Jamie Lee Curtis's mother, Janet Leigh, was in that movie, and she was billed as the main character of the show, and she was killed half an hour into the show.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. Well, he went further. He said, "Okay, Drew Barrymore's in this movie," and she lasted 5 minutes.
Yep.
You're done. We're gonna move on from that. But yeah,
but it was good watching her while she was there.
Right. Yeah, I love Drew Barrymore. Yeah, I think she's awesome. You want to talk about Hollywood royalty? Wow.
Yeah.
That chick right there. What was her dad's name? John Barrymore?
Yeah.
He was in movies forever. But yeah, Scream was a fantastic movie. And our girl, Neve Campbell, she spends most of her time on the damn phone in this movie, man. It's crazy. But the killer in it, now, I have never watched these, the many, many sequels it had. And Matt and I touched on this last week. It's hard to do sequels to a horror movie and make it good.
And I made one of the more poor decisions ever. This was back around, I guess, 2000-ish. Me and some buddies, we were going to the movie theater, and we had two options that both started at the same time: Scream 3 or Gladiator. And we're like, "Oh, let's."
And
go
you went and saw Scream 3?
Yeah, we did.
You sickos! How old were you?
I was probably about 18 or 19.
Okay, all right, yeah. Okay, I can see that. Yeah, there's girls in that one. There's girls in that one. Gladiator,
right.
Yeah, that kind of
brings. Was before we knew that Gladiator was going to be a classic,
a kick-ass movie, right? And you sit here and think about Leslie Nielsen, or not Leslie Nielsen, but what's the gray-haired pilot's name from Airplane? God, he
Leslie
was
Nielsen.
Impossible. No.
Oh, Peter Graves.
Peter Graves. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, you said that. I was thinking
Gladiator. You're thinking.
Yeah.
Do you watch Gladiator movies?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
No, we ain't going to see that, man. Damn it. No, we can't do that. But first of all, I love the look of this guy. I think he's freaking cool looking. I always did like the mask. That's probably the coolest look out of all these guys. Unless you're a big sports fan and you love Jason's hockey mask, that's really a cool one. The Scream Ghost is pretty cool looking, man. But
that mask was huge as far as
it was. Oh my
sales.
God, it still is. People still wear that thing on Halloween, man. Yeah.
Well, as a Star Wars fan, when I look at it, there's a species in Star Wars called the Given.
Okay.
And they look a little bit like the Scream mask, especially like around the eyes.
Okay.
And so every time I see the Scream mask or a Given character, always think of the other one.
All right. Cool. What movie would we have seen them in?
I don't know if they're in the movies, but they were just in some of like the comics and some of the, I guess, like RPG
the extended
stories
universe
and,
stuff. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. All right. Well, yeah. Of course, guys, if you haven't seen these movies, then I don't know what to tell you. There's spoilers all over the place, so tune back in later on because we're going to talk about them. But I thought it was a great ending having both of those guys being involved in this. It explained a lot with what was going on with the movie, why you couldn't figure out who the killer was during the show. I thought that was fantastic. Like, for instance, the part where the guy is in the van. I think I have a clip of that. Well, no, I don't. I've got something else clipped. But the guy that tells the rules of a horror movie, right?
Yeah, Matthew Lillard.
And he's on the couch. They're watching him in the van, in the video production van, right? On camera. And they see the guy coming up behind him, and then he backs out, and all of a sudden he's right behind the dude outside the van. Explained a lot of that stuff,
Yeah.
And
the one thing I don't like about the Scream movies is I can't stand David Arquette. The guy just bothers me. It doesn't matter what role he plays.
He bothers a lot of people.
He just rode the coattails of his sisters.
Yeah, the sisters. Well, that and his wife at the time, Courtney Cox.
True. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Yep. shoot, yeah, he didn't need any Brit at that time because she was on Friends, I think, before this was even a thing,
Yeah,
wasn't
a
it?
year or two before that. Yeah.
I think so. So yeah, they weren't hurting for money, that's for sure. Vince said he'd be right back, but Scream to me was very original. I thought it was great. Laughed my ass off when I saw who the principal of the fucking school was. Our Arthur Fonzarelli without the sans leather jacket was the was the principal. Too funny, man.
I
Yeah.
always thought it was great how Henry Winkler is so not the Fonz. Like,
No, he's not.
yeah,
He isn't. You see him in interviews and stuff. He is so not that guy. Oh man.
there's just to diverge for a second. There's an interview on YouTube that Henry Winkler did with Howie Mandel recently, where he talked about how he at one point he was trying to help out Stallone shop around the Rocky script,
Right.
And Henry Winkler helped Stallone buy it back from the studio that was going to try to, recast it and rewrite it and all that kind of stuff. So,
wow.
And to an extent, Henry Winkler helped save Rocky.
Yeah. Yeah, because they probably would have destroyed that movie. They'd have had that first thing they would have done is they'd have had Rocky win in the end of it, which would have destroyed the whole movie.
Yep. That's the greatest part of the movie.
It is. It is the greatest part of the movie, man. That's why it won Best Picture, if you ask me. If they'd have told that story any other way, have him lose he lost, but he went the distance, and that's all he wanted to do. He was trying to basically gain respect for himself. Don't get me started about that movie. That's one of my favorite franchises ever, dude.
That could be its own stream. Yeah,
it could be its own stream. What's your favorite Rocky movie?
The original.
3.
Yep.
3 is the best one ever. Because you don't have to sit through a 10-minute fight. Each fight in it's 3 rounds. It's over that quick. Well, go ahead.
I do have a partial soft spot in my heart for 4, though.
Yeah, 4's good. It's almost music video genre, though.
Yeah.
You got the workout video in there and all that stuff. But I saw that on probably the biggest screen I've ever seen a movie on in Hawaii when I was in the military. I think that was wasn't that early '85 or late '84 that came out, and man, yeah, it was impressive to see on a big screen. It really was. Dolph Lundgren, wow, that guy was massive. Holy God!
Talk about great casting. But there's one of all the Rocky movies. A favorite part of any Rocky movie might be in Rocky 2 when Adrian is in bed. I think she just had the child, and she was trying to recover from having the child and wasn't doing too good.
Right.
And she says, Rocky, there's this one thing I want you to do.
Uh-huh.
And he leans in and she goes, when? And then you hear, you hear the bell
ring.
The
music.
Yeah.
That whole series is inspiring, man. It is.
Yep.
It really is. It's fantastic stuff.
That always gets the chill bumps going.
Yep, I hear you. What's up? How you doing, 70s? Good to see you, buddy.
Hey, 70s. Hope the move's going well.
I hope it's going good, man. I saw you on last night. If you can jump in here whenever you want to. Just another red shirt. You get the thread's still going. You guys jump in if you want to. We're here. We're on Scream right now. We're fixing to move on from Scream, though. All right, let's see. He said, hi, guys. Okay. So, let's see. We want to move on from Scream. But I thought the dual killers at the end of it was really cool. And I've never seen any of the sequels. You guys tell me. Did it? I mean, they've made how many sequels now to this thing?
Well, counting the reboot / sequel that they did, was it last year or was it this year?
Yeah, they rebooted it.
Maybe the very beginning of this year. It's somewhere around in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I made the mistake of watching it.
Yeah, I've never watched any of them past the first one.
I have, and I don't remember them.
See, it's and I'm with you on Arquette. He's kind of a pain in the ass.
Although Timothy Oliphant is in either 2 or 3, and I like everything
is he
does.
Oh well, see, it'd be worth watching that guy. Yeah,
right.
Timothy,
I think it's part 3. Yeah.
dude,
Yeah.
I hope his career continues to ascend. The last thing I saw him in was what was it? It's Tarantino's last flick.
Once Upon a Time in
Once Upon a
Hollywood.
Time in Hollywood. He
Yeah.
played the young guy that was coming in to play it against DiCaprio. Yeah.
Yeah.
He
I love that
was the
movie.
star of the show, I think, and DiCaprio was just playing the bad guy in it, right?
Yeah, he was playing like the possibly recurring villain,
Right.
if things went well. Yeah.
If things went well, yes.
And
Dude,
apparently
good
Leo
stuff.
that was that wasn't in the script for him to tear up the inside of his trailer. Apparently that was his idea to do that.
That's
on his own.
awesome, though. That was that's. Look, I don't know if I've told you this or not, and guys, if this derails every once in a while, guys, get used to it. That's what this stream's all about. It's me talking to my friends. So, but I think that's awesome. The guy was struggling with alcohol and he knew it, and he was. If you know addiction at all, they kick themselves in the ass all the time. You know what I mean? Yeah, I thought it was a great scene in the movie.
And
but
the other thing I'll say about that is there's the scene where he's clearly hungover and he's got his face buried in a bowl of ice.
Right.
And then you got this type A hyper director, barging in. And when you're hungover, the last thing you want is like somebody that's really hyper and
don't need any of that in my life.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. Robert says, y'all need to shave, Joe. Man, leave me alone, you goon. It's good to see you, Robert. So, yeah, let's see. Okay, done with Scream. Let's see what else we got on the list. My list is almost done, guys. Let's see. Then
we get to main event.
Yeah, then we get to the main event. The last one is I Know What You Did Last Summer. That's it. That one I had to put on. Now this one is probably the weakest of all the franchises, I would say.
Yeah.
The slasher in it's not very good.
But trying to ride on Scream's coattails.
Yeah, that's what it did. But I've got to tell you, it's got a very, very cute girl in the end of it, man. Let me tell you.
Yep. 2 of them.
Let's see. I know I pulled this up. Where is it? Okay, hang on a second. I'm gonna have to pull it up. Shoot. Well, I've got other visuals I can use. Hang on. Let's see. Kellogg threw me off with that beard thing. He really did. Let's see.
Yeah, it's
getting out of hand.
I enjoyed it. It's not the greatest movie ever, but you know, it's certainly not the worst. There were some tropes in it. And
this is the bad guy in I Know What You Did Last Summer. This is him. Probably the least scary guy out of the whole bunch.
Well, he's like the urban legend you tell around the campfire.
Right.
The guy with the hook.
He's the guy with the hook. That's it, man.
Where it's on the door handle.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
The fisherman. Yeah. And of course, I love these movies just because it's got Jennifer Love Hewitt in it. So, hey.
Yeah.
I'm not going to shy away from that. It's the truth. I dig it because of those. And this is one that I actually watched the first sequel to it because she was on the poster again. So let me see. Grab this.
She would have to be my number one Scream queen.
Is that right? Well, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that here in a second. Let's see. Let's see. Here we go. And I think they just remade this too, didn't they?
I Know What You Did Last Summer?
Yeah.
That's what I've heard of.
I don't remember it.
Let's see.
If they remade it
2021, I Know What You Did Last Summer. Yep.
Wow. That flew under the radar.
I'm telling you that they've remade most of these movies. Yeah, they have. Let me see. The poster. Yeah. There we go. Hang on. Bing and boom. Yeah, there it is. That's my girl. Woof. And it's got another really good looking girl that ended up in a TV show for a really long time called Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah. One might say this may be the best looking cast of any slasher movie right here. Because you had Freddie Prinze Jr. and who's the other guy? He ended up being in Cruel Intentions with that girl too.
Ryan Phillippe.
Is that his
Yeah.
name? Ryan Phillippe? Yeah.
Almost too pretty to be in a slasher film.
Almost too pretty to be in a slasher movie. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, but yeah, I thought it was a cool movie and everything. But the main reason why I watched it was because of Jennifer Love Hewitt. And anybody that knows me knows I'm a sucker for a petite blonde, or excuse me, petite brunette. So yeah, that, and I think that's a good segue into our final girls, man. We'll start checking them out. And the first one we want to talk about now. You guys, let me know who you liked. I can tell you who, in my polling, Jamie Lee Curtis won out of the three I put up. But let me see. The first one I want to show is, let me see if I can find it real quick. The one that I think really barely makes it on this list, and that's the girl from Nightmare on Elm Street. Let me see. I believe I'm sharing my audio. I think I am. And we'll find out shortly as soon as I play this clip, right?
Yep.
Let's see.
No.
Yep, you're sharing your audio.
No, for sleep.
Don't go to sleep in the tub.
There
Uh-oh.
it is.
What the hell? What is going on?
What, Mother? Don't fall asleep in there.
That's how you could tell if they were asleep or not, man. Right there. That's how you could tell. Yeah, but her name is help me out here, guys. I got to bring my source material up here.
I don't know the actress name.
The actress's name is Heather Langenkamp. And the character's name is Nancy Thompson. Is her name. But yeah, that's. I always thought she didn't need to be on the final girls list because she's not the final girl in every one of those movies. You know what I mean?
No.
Unlike Jamie Lee, she's always the last one. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So
yeah,
that's the first one I got. The next one I'm gonna drop on you is gonna be one of my favorites, and I think it's Matt's favorite. I think he's already attested to it. The girl from I Know What You Did Last Summer, Heather Love Hewitt.
Yep. She's my favorite for sure. And of course, I enjoyed her in Party of Five and some other things she did.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. She went on to make a whole lot of different stuff, man. She did. Oh my gosh, hang on one second. I brought some visuals up of some of the other shows she did. Me and my wife watched quite a bit of this one, Ghost Whisperer. She did this one on TV.
I remember the name of that.
Yeah, Ghost Whisperer was. It's not, and I'm not saying that this is epic television. This is definitely just a notch above CW style stuff. Okay, but some of the stuff in it was really, really good. You had a woman that could communicate with the dead. She saw them and she could hear them. Kind of like the Frighteners, right? And Michael J. Fox's character. It's the same thing, only it's a female. And she basically, it always felt like to me like a female version of the Incredible Hulk. She'd always help out somebody different in every episode, try and help them, basically go into the light kind of thing, wrap up their life so they could go into the hereafter. And let's see. Oh, Pope is in there. Hey, what's up, Pope? Good to see you. I think they have a pill for that these days.
That was a reference to Freddie's hand in the bathtub.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Jennifer Love Hewitt is an all-timer. Yes, she is, buddy. It's good to see you, Pope.
And also the actress that played her little sister in Party of Five, she's right up there as well. I'll have to look up her name.
Really? I don't even know who that is, man. I don't think I ever watched Party of Five. The first thing I ever saw her in was, of course, you know what? I didn't watch much television when I got older. What is it?
Lacey Chabert.
Lacey Chabert. Okay.
Yep. Anyway.
Well, if you can pull up a picture of her, I mean, maybe I recognize her if I saw her face. But Jennifer did this show, Ghost Whisperer, which is, like I said, that's kind of was. You didn't have to watch every episode, but it did have some season-long running things. There was a guy that was trying to. It was like an evil entity that was trying to get all these lost souls to him to give him power, and she was trying to keep them away from him. And in the episode, the final 2 episodes of the first season, if you don't watch anything else of Ghost Whisperer, watch the last 2 episodes of the first season. They could make that a movie. It's really, really good. It has to do with, she starts seeing these visions of people that are breathing smoke like it's cold. They all look like they're freezing. And it turns out it's a plane crash. They're victims of a plane crash. And it's just, you'd have to see it. I don't want to give it all away, but man, great television. It was fantastic. But that's what it was most of the time. Some spirit would start talking to her and she'd help them out, that kind of thing. But at one point in the series, her husband, who's played by this guy, I'm not sure who that guy is. He was pretty good on the show, but he dies and ends up talking to her and stuff. It's really, it's a good show. I started collecting it, but I only got like the first 2 seasons of it. But then she went on to doing one that I recommended to Matt. It's not the greatest show in the world, but if he likes that girl, you need to watch this one, buddy. It's called The Client List. And she basically, she doesn't give happy endings, but yeah, she dresses up in some crazy outfits and stuff on that show right there. I can't remember which cable network it was on, but yeah, you saw her at the height of her powers and all her glory in that show. It was called The Client List. But that's Jennifer Love Hewitt. I really dig Jennifer Love Hewitt. A lot of people say that my second ex-wife looks exactly like her, and I wouldn't be shocked if that were true, but she's an ex-wife for a reason. So, but anyway, yeah, I definitely dig this girl here. Now, the next one I want to bring up is, I don't know, I think this girl's cute, and her acting, I guess, is okay. I like the movie she's in more for the stories and stuff, really. And the movie series she's in, she spends most of the time on the phone. That's Neve Campbell from the Screen movies. And really, you got her as the final girl, but you also got Courtney Cox in that cast too.
Yeah.
Which I've been in love with her ever since Dancing in the Dark with Bruce Springsteen. That when he yanked her on stage, I mean, she was gorgeous.
Before she was well known. Yeah.
Before she was even acting, really. Yeah. But Neve Campbell, I dig. She's cool. Now a lot of people know her from that notorious movie with her and Denise Richards, where they're partying with champagne and stuff. I can't remember the name of that flick.
Yeah.
What was it called?
Things.
Wild Things. That's it. Yeah.
That's not the Kevin Bacon you want to see.
No, it's not.
You see Kevin's bacon and you don't want to.
And you don't really want to, man. No, that's not cool. But I felt like I needed to put her in here because she is cute and she does whoop some ass at the end of those movies every time, man. She's probably the most physical out of all these girls. That's for sure. She's not really the screamer. You know what I mean? She's more like she gets mad and starts beating people up.
Well, part of the reason why, who knows what went into casting her, but it may have been the fact that she's not, some sort of like, drop dead gorgeous,
no,
6 foot tall platinum blonde.
No,
she does kind of have a relatable look to her in terms of a
girl next door
type thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she does. And then of course
really she's holding that knife though.
Yeah, that's somebody needs to teach her a thing or two about knife fighting, don't they? Let's flip that around there.
Yeah.
Can we flip that around? But anyway, yeah, Nev Campbell definitely, I think, deserved to be on this list. And
Yeah.
let's see what Pope talking about here. What's he talking about? Pope says, I may do, sir. I have packed up. Oh, they're talking about their moves. Okay, cool. Okay, and then of the last one, of course, is my personal favorite. Where is she? I know she's here. Where is she? There she is. Laurie Strode, aka Jamie Lee Curtis. Now, Matt clued me into a I'm going to call it an urban legend here.
Yep.
The last show. Apparently, she's a gay test. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well,
Explain
the
that one
urban
to me,
legend
Bill.
that I remember hearing, I think goes back, years, many years, is that she was born a male, but was, raised as a girl. Again, that was the urban legend. This is pre-internet days, when you're
Mhm.
a kid, and
Yeah.
it's kind of things you hear. Sort of like when the people say, "Oh, the actor that played Zach Morris died." Well, if you don't have the internet, you don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah.
But all I can tell you is, after watching True Lies, that's a woman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd have
Yeah.
to say,
Yeah.
yeah. That's yeah. Well, hey,
She's also got the greatest pedigree of all the Scream Queens.
she is Hollywood royalty, no doubt about it. Tony, the daughter of Tony Curtis and Janet Leigh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that. She's got that going for her. Let's see. I've got a couple more pictures here, talking about her filmography here. She went from playing just about every. They called her the Queen of Scream at one point because she was
Yeah.
in so many horror movies. But after Prom Night and Terror Train, which I think she looks the hottest in Terror Train myself, because she's wearing these yoga pants. Just oh my god, I was in love with the woman. I was. I'm not gonna lie. When I was a kid, I was in love with her. But then we found out that she had a body in a movie called Trading Places,
Yep.
where she actually showed us what that looked like. And no, she doesn't look like a guy in that movie. She really doesn't. But the only thing guyish about her is her haircut. But yeah, Trading Places is a great flick. And yeah, Jamie's gorgeous in that one. And then she went on to flaunt her stuff a lot more in a movie called Perfect with John Travolta, one of the silliest movies you'll ever see. It's just horrible. That was a bad choice for her to make, but she's become a meme from those movies. And then to his point, if you ever saw True Lies, yeah, this girl, this is just going into it. I didn't want to put a bunch of pictures from that movie in there, but yeah, she's got it going on in that movie, no doubt about it. But yeah, she's my personal favorite out of all of them is Jamie Lee Curtis. And the results from my poll I put up was Jamie Lee Curtis as well. But Jennifer Love Hewitt's a strong second, no doubt. You know what I'm saying? It's that's pretty close, the two of them.
If we're talking final girls,
Go for
and
it.
not restricting it to slashers, but all horror movies,
Yeah.
mine would have to be Sigourney Weaver.
There you go. Alien. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good
You
point.
know, I tell you what, Sigourney Weaver, she's about 6 feet tall, isn't she? I think
Yeah, she's
she's a
pretty
really
close, yeah.
tall woman. And yeah, my God, she's got one of those statuesque kind of beauties. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like she could have been a model if she wanted to be. Hell, she might have been for all we know. You never know where these guys got their start from. But
Well,
yeah,
and when you're
in
watching,
Alien, yeah, go ahead.
when you're watching Alien, you buy her in that role.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
You know.
One of the things I thought was the coolest about Alien was the way. Oh yeah, hang on. Before we get off, Jamie Lee, Pope saying True Lies is a classic. Hell yeah, hell yeah. You guys could crack up. My favorite part of that movie is when they fuck with Bill Paxton, man.
Yeah.
When they drag his ass out to the fucking dam. Oh my God, that's hilarious, man.
That was
You
back.
know what? is that guy's name Tom Arnold?
Yeah.
Roseanne's husband at the
Yeah.
time. My God, he's hilarious. And I didn't see him in anything else, but he is a riot in that movie, man.
Yeah,
Oh
he
my
didn't do a
God.
whole lot,
No.
and he has since gotten a bad case of TDS.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Really?
Like a lot of
Oh,
Hollywood.
yeah,
what a
like
shame.
a lot of Hollywood. Yeah,
What a shame. To let somebody get under your skin that much. Come on, man.
to let
Give me a
it
break.
run your life is not a good thing. Yeah.
Mhm. Vince Womack says Alien had the most unflattering underwear in in any movie ever. Yeah, yeah. I know what he's talking about. He's talking about that one shot where the camera's shooting up where she's getting in that suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the cut off tank top.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. Let's see. Pope says Vince Womack facts. My ass looks better than hers in that movie. Oh man, you guys are incorrigible. Yes,
We-
Sigourney Weaver definitely. Yeah, I mean, well, that's not the only movie she's the final girl in either.
No.
Ghostbusters, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when she gets possessed, she's super hot in that movie. But yeah, I can see that Sigourney Weaver. I'm down with that one. Definitely, that's a good one to throw in there, man. But anyway, any final thoughts on the Halloween season and the celebration of these horror classics?
You should try and fit several of them in before Monday.
Yeah, for sure. I'll tell you one that I really love, and I'm gonna pull it up real fast. And this one, what I find funny about this one is it doesn't have a final girl. This one doesn't. Okay, let me find it real fast. Like I mentioned it last week. It's one of my favorite horror movies ever, and I want to say it's on my list. I just didn't grab any. Well, I did grab a graphic or two from it. Let's see. Where is he? I know I saved a picture of him. Yeah, there he is. No, that ain't him. I'm looking at these so small. There he is. Okay. All right. Let me throw that up there for you guys. Phantasm is one of my favorite horror movies ever, but it leans more towards the science fiction type of fantasy horror. And they made several bad reboots of it. But this guy, the tall man, he was the bad guy. I forgot to mention him when we were talking about the slashers and stuff. He ran a mortuary. Have you ever seen this, John?
Oh yeah. Yeah. We
Yeah.
did a show on it yesterday.
Did you? Oh,
Yeah. That's what
See, I hate that I'm missing that stuff. Oh,
that's one of the shows. One of the things we did on Chris's show was for the second half. Phantasm was one of the movies that we talked about.
yeah. I was working on cleaning up the glass for that sign yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I missed that because that is one of my favorite ones ever. And it doesn't have a final girl. It's got a final teenager
Yeah.
guy. Yeah. And that scene where he gets yanked through that door is just awesome.
Yeah. And technically, Bruce Campbell would be a final guy.
True.
From Evil Dead.
Yeah, from Evil Dead series, he would be a final guy, no doubt. So the girls have a couple of them to root for. But yeah, Phantasm, you should really check that one out, guys.
Angus
you would definitely
Scrimm.
enjoy that one. Huh?
Angus Scrimm.
Angus Scrimm? Is that the actor's name?
Yeah, I think that's the actor's. I think it's
Okay.
Scrimm.
Yeah, he's known as the tall man in the
Yeah.
credits. I know that. He's credited as the tall man. But yeah, I'll tell you what. I always loved that movie. I don't know why. It might be the sex scene at the beginning of it because I was really young when I saw it the first time.
There is one horror franchise we didn't talk about that I don't even know if I should bring it up, but Sleepaway Camp.
Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah,
Is that a franchise?
they
Could
actually
be.
made part 2 and 3 with Bruce Springsteen's sister as the lead.
Really?
But
Was
the
it-
reason
was
why I
this,
hesitate to even bring it up is the end of the first one is yeah, I don't want to ruin it for anybody that hadn't seen it, but
Yeah.
mentally
Is it-
scarring.
Is this a was it after Friday the 13th? If I've remember
It was
correctly?
early '80s, so it would have probably been it would probably would have been a year
Hang
or
on,
two
hang on. We're
after.
gonna dig into this. Hang on a second. Hang on. We're gonna find out what's up.
Yeah, Camp Sleepaway was everybody's. It's basically a Friday that it kind of bills itself as a Friday the 13th clone.
'83.
Okay. This is 1983. That's my senior year in high school. And
I was 13.
let's see. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was fixing to join the army. Sleepaway camp, and they had more than one of these. Huh.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking like, especially the parts 2 and 3. We're talking about a
Now this is
pretty-
after
pretty
Friday
low
the
budget.
13th. Friday the 13th was 80, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This is after that.
But all I can say is that if you haven't seen it, there's a twist at the end.
Oh my
that,
God! I know the one this is.
yeah.
Oh Jesus! Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be comfortable in your manhood. If you
Well,
watch
all
that
I can
movie.
say is the first time I saw it, I thought, oh, this is like a scary version of Meatballs.
Right?
I didn't know how right I would end up being,
Yeah.
but for all the wrong reasons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Yeah, I do remember this one now. I do remember it. Oh man, let's see.
I watched it in high school, but I can't remember for the life of me.
Is that movie with the twist ending when bit or yeah, something to that effect, bro. Yes, that's her. Yep, that's it. Yep. So, yeah. Be comfortable in your manhood before you
But
watch Sleepaway Camp.
The actress, lead actress from that, does a lot of conventions, and apparently she's really
Popular?
well. With the she's really nice to the fans and everything, and just
Yeah.
real
Mm-hmm.
outgoing. I don't think her career ever really took off after the child acting bit. Yep.
Yeah, that would be hard to do, wouldn't it? Ugh.
First of all, if I don't have any children, but if I did, I don't know that I'd want them in a horror movie.
No.
I don't think I'd want
No,
that.
they'd have to be an adult or on their own, do their own
Yep.
thing. Yeah, at that point. Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't want any of my kids in a horror movie, that's for sure. That's probably what messed up the Coreys, was being in a horror movie as young as they were.
Yeah. Well, I think what messed up the Coreys was the adults that were keeping on. They
You
were
know what it
dealing with.
was.
Yeah.
I mean, that you want to talk about something we could do a whole show on is minors in Hollywood and what the difference is between a Kurt Russell and a Ron Howard or the Coreys. You know, what does make them go in that direction instead of becoming successful and whatnot. And man, you know, when a lot of these guys grew up, we really don't know what went on with them at all.
No.
Because
having
the internet wasn't a
parents that-
thing, and we
having
didn't.
parents that are leeches is
Yeah.
not good. Yep.
No, that's not a good thing. Absolutely.
Shia
Just
LaBeouf's
ask.
mother.
Just
was-
ask Brittany.
Yeah.
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 Right?
Well, there was a HBO. HBO did a thing where they basically, it was Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. They paid for a movie where like a director won a contest or something to where they could direct it, and it was a documentary on HBO that showed the making of the movie, and it was one of Shia LaBeouf's first movies, and this is a few years before Transformers,
Mm-hmm.
and it basically showed how Shia LaBeouf's mother, sort of used him as a way to make her own income. And,
Yeah. That's
not a good thing.
That's not about right.
Yeah.
Has anybody seen that movie that basically is supposed to be about his life, where he plays his father in it? I can't remember the name of the damn movie,
That doesn't
but
ring a bell.
he's made an autobiographical movie, and he plays his father in it. Shia LaBeouf does. I'll have to. When I talk to you guys again, I'll try and have the name for
And
it.
there's the whole Poltergeist cursed.
The
that
kid in
whole
Poltergeist
rabbit hole
turned
there.
out all right too soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Pope says, "Oof." Yeah. Look, that Poltergeist movie. I can understand them thinking those people were cursed, dude. Well, what Craig T. Nelson ended up doing okay,
Yeah.
you know, but Joe Beth Williams didn't hear much from her after that. But I went and saw it in the theater in Metairie, seeing my aunt. I've told you I've gone down there a couple of times when she was in the Guard, and the place I saw it in looked like a church on the inside. It had like a triangular ceiling. Scared the shit out of me watching that movie. I was like, damn, I don't need to be watching this in church. But yeah, that's one of the best horror movies I've ever seen. I love that movie. I thought it was fantastic. Really did.
A classic.
Yeah. Awesome stuff. Okay, so we got a few outside of the slasher franchises for you to check out. A little Phantasm, a little Poltergeist, a little Sleepaway Camp, if you're comfortable in your own skin. So just want to let you guys know that next week's episode of State of the Atmosphere is going to be a celebration of my 200th subscriber I got today.
I did see that.
Somewhere around noon, I saw it. And I was like, whoa, get down. All right. So we will get together and celebrate me getting 200, and we will do it by talking to everybody and see what they're up to. Let's see. That 70s fan says it's called Whoops. There go the bloopers. Hell yeah, man. Pope, thank you, man. I couldn't have done it without you, dude. Getting on your show. But anyway, any final thoughts for the guys out there about the Halloween stuffs? Any little gems they need to check out besides the ones we've already mentioned? And if you say the human caterpillar or whatever the hell it is, I'm gonna kick you off the stream. Yeah. So don't watch that stuff. That ain't no good. Really, I say stick to the major franchises for Halloween. Some of the ones we're talking about that make you feel like you need a shower afterwards, it's because they're really just they're gross movies, man. The Last House on the Left and
Children of the Corn.
Yeah, Children of the Corn. There's one that'll freak you out. Oh, you know what I didn't even mention, man? And it's one of my favorite horror movies growing up. The Omen. That is a fantastic flick, man.
How could we skip The Omen? I mean, geez.
Well, we were talking slashers and stuff.
Yeah.
But we're talking about the ultimate evil there. We're talking about the Antichrist. I thought that movie was fantastic. That was really good. Uh-oh. Pope, what's Pope talking about? Pope. It
Wicker
was
Man.
And continues to be a genuine pleasure, sir. Yes, sir. What Vince?
The Wishmaster.
Wicker Man?
Yep.
And Wishmaster. The first Wishmaster, he says, too. The first Wishmaster.
Oh, there's the Puppet Master.
Puppet Master.
That's more comedy, though.
The Wicker Man was...
We mentioned Hills Have Eyes, buddy. Yeah. We went into... I detailed the directors at the beginning of the show, bud. I said the Mount Rushmore of directors, for me, and this is just my opinion, it's John Carpenter, David Cronenberg, Wes Craven, and Clive Barker. Those are the four guys I'd put on that mantle. 70 says The Wicker Man 1973 is a classic, and we are going to do it on my show soon. Very good.
Cool.
Very good.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that with you.
It's definitely better than the Nick Cage one. Although the Nick Cage one is comedic unintentionally.
Unintentionally comedic.
Yeah.
Those sometimes are some of the funnest movies. Look, when people tell me that they like a bad movie, I'm like, yeah, cool, man. Because there's two movies that pop out the top of my head, and one of them could be considered a horror movie that really I just love, and they're really bad. Pope says, not the bees.
Yeah.
First one is The Toxic Avenger. It's one of my favorite movies ever. It's freaking hilarious how grisly and gross that movie is. And the other one is Howard the Duck. So, it is so cringeworthy. It's great. It's one of those movies. I always tell people some movies are so bad they're good. And you can just sit there and not worry about talking during it and shit. You just make fun of it the whole show. And Howard the Duck's one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's see.
There's that whole, with Toxic Avenger, there's the whole like Lloyd Kaufman, trauma universe where.
Yes. Oh yeah. They've got a whole universe, but I didn't get into all that, but I saw the Toxic Avenger first and I was like, oh my God. Let's see. Vince says 85 Fly remake. Yeah, that was a Cronenberg film. We mentioned that one. Yeah. I agree, Joe. The Omen was great. Such good actors. And oh yeah, my God, yes. The guy that we just lost a few months ago was in it. He was the guy that was showing him where to get the daggers from, and the movie ended up getting the plate of glass through his neck. What is that guy's name? I remember when he died, they all said he was from Titanic, and I'm like, bullshit. He played Jack the Ripper in Time After Time when he stole H.G. Wells' time machine. What was his name? Oh my God, I'm having a senior moment. He just died not too
David
long
Warner.
ago. Yeah, that's it. David Warner. That's it. Yep. You said it the same time he typed it. David Warner. He was one of my favorites. And yes, he's in The Omen. He's the guy that teaches Gregory Peck what he has to do, and where to get the knives and all that stuff. He's been investigating it the whole time. Pope says, by the way, guys, I'll be going live in an hour to give y'all our weekly-ish dose of rock and roll religion. Well, you go, man. You go. I'll be busy working on a sign. I did a tribute video to him, and his son tweeted me a thanks to thank
That's
you.
cool.
Yes,
Very cool.
absolutely. And it was a good video. I did see that one. Yes.
He was also, I think, the bad guy in Tron as well, David Warner.
Yes, he was. Yep. He was the Master Control program. He sure was. Yeah.
He was in Star Trek too.
That's what killed me. Yes, he's arguably my second favorite. Of course, everybody loves Wrath of Khan, me included. But I think the second best one is The Undiscovered Country. I love that movie. And yeah, he was the guy suing for peace in that one. The Klingon trying to bring about peace. Chancellor Gorkon, wasn't that his name?
Yep.
Yeah. He was great, man. Yeah, he's one of the greatest of all time. Yeah, here you go. It's David Warner time. Tron, Time Bandits. Wreck. Yeah.
Oh, Time Bandits. I remember him in
Time Bandits. He was great.
He's one of those guys.
I love Time Bandits.
He can be easy to hate. His character. You can really enjoy not liking him.
Yeah, absolutely.
It comes natural to him.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But anyway, guys. Okay, so let me let you know what's going on with the channel before we get out of here. Of course, you guys know what you're watching right now is State of the Atmosfere, where we talk about whatever I decide we're going to bring up. And yes, I'm going to continue to use Tulsi in my thumbnail because I think she's Wonder Woman. I dig her. Okay, so leave me alone. Anyway, we just get together with me and my friends and talk about stuff. And next week it's going to be the 200th. It's going to be 200 because you guys got me 200 subscribers. Thank you so much. And we'll do a little celebration of 200 subscribers. I'll try and get as many guys on as I can for it. Of course, Das Wolfen, Matt, you're always invited. Everybody in that thread's invited. We'll just cycle people through, whoever wants to show up. Cool. And that's we do this every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Central, 6:30 Eastern. And then, of course, don't forget tomorrow night, you got me and my brother hacking the Matrix, a fast-paced, headline-driven talk show between me and my brother where I basically screw up reading and he makes fun of me the whole show, and it's hilarious. We have a good time. That's 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern every Thursday. And then you can watch me work on my comic book. I'm 3 pages away from having the first issue plotted. My springtime deadline for myself is right on time. It's going right along the way I wanted it to. My buddy Justifier Jim will come in for commentary when I get busy drawing and can't talk that much. That's Sketching the Privateer every Saturday, 1:30 Central, 2:30 Eastern. And then, of course, every Sunday morning, we got the pregame show. If you don't want to watch the Communist News Network, ESPN, you can watch us, where we don't talk about betting lines. We talk about the talent you're watching on the field and what we think is going to happen. It's me and my buddy Knock doing the NFL pregame party. And we do that at 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern, 2 hours before kickoff of the first games. We're here every week. Knock will give us a quick rundown of college. We call it the scouting report, and then we talk about the week that was and the week that will be in the NFL. So for myself, my man Matt at Small Time Republic, do you want to plug anything, sir?
Nothing to plug. Just
nothing to plug.
All I know is that Knock is having to suffer this fall with the Broncos offense. That's all I know.
My God, he's hurting, man. He's hurting. How about those Commanders, though? Hey. He thought I was crazy for picking that team. Yeah, he
The
thought I was nuts.
Commandos.
The Commandos. Yes. And John, do you want to push anything?
Well, I've got my. I didn't this week because I had an appointment, but every Tuesday at 4 Central, I have my live stream, Das Wolfen's Random Stream of Randomness. And you can also see me every day at 10 a.m. on Pop Culture Minefield for the weekly coffee or the morning coffee with whoever, Gary or Chris or Keith, and TGIF, which is at 2 on Friday, and then Saturday Morning Fun Times, which is at noon on Saturday.
John, that was on Pop Culture Minefield.
That's on Pop Culture Minefield, yeah.
That's where I met him at, and his randomness stream's pretty good too. It's kind of like the one I do here, but he's solo act, and he pulls up some headlines and talks about them and lets you know what's going on with them. Yeah,
Play
it's
a
a
little
good
game.
stuff. Yep, play a little gaming. Yep. I think the last time I watched you were playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think I'm not sure.
Yeah, that was the last one.
Yep. But anyway, guys, thank you for being here, and I just want to tell everybody, thank you for helping me get to 200. All of you are definitely part of it, and I appreciate it. And I'm going to keep going, and hopefully I can get to that magic number and get monetized one of these days. But listen, until we see you again, guys, I want you all to keep on keeping on. God bless.